was 28 weeks pregnant last week, and on Thursday, I had my 28-week appointment with my OB, and we went over some of the possibilities of me going into preterm labor due to the fact that my daughter was premature. She wasn't crazy premature. She was born at 35 weeks, but still premature nonetheless. So we talked about how literally anything could happen this pregnancy, especially given all of the symptoms that I've had throughout. I've had contractions throughout. Although I've been really enjoying the pregnancy, it's been really hard on my body overall, and I've just felt more pains and all kinds of stuff this time around. So the very next day on Friday, I woke up and I was actually having a pretty good day. Now that I look back, I definitely realized that I was nesting because I was cleaning everything and anything. I wanted all the laundry done. I wanted all the baby stuff washed. But around 2:45 in the afternoon, my husband, he gives me a phone call. He had just gotten out from the doctor, and he gave me some news from his doctor's office that I wasn't expecting. And so when that happened, instantly I had my very first contraction. This was not like the other contractions that I had been experiencing throughout the pregnancy. This was a real contraction. So at that point, I'm like, whoa, maybe I'm just stressed because he just gave me this news. But from there, the contractions just kind of continued. They weren't they weren't close together. And at the time, I didn't think they were very consistent because I was having one here, at 10 minutes, and then I wouldn't have another one for maybe like 15 or 20. But throughout the day, they started to become just a little bit more consistent, a little bit closer together. And I started having an increase in this cramping sensation as well as back pain. I was really nervous and concerned, but at the same time, because I was only 28 weeks pregnant, I just felt like I was being dramatic. I don't know why I felt that way when looking back so clearly, my body was telling me that something was wrong, but I didn't want to be that person to go into labor and delivery and then them tell me, oh, these are Braxton Hicks, go home, drink water. But I will say, please, please, women, if you are pregnant and you feel like something is off, go get checked. It is so much better and safer to be safe than sorry. So I kept on cooking. I was cooking for my kids. My husband was at work. I was cleaning, just trying to pull through as much as I can until my husband got home. And finally, around 6 p.m., my contractions were 6 minutes apart. They were consistent, they were intense, and I just knew, okay, for sure, like, if I'm not in labor, then something is wrong. I decided to check myself into labor and delivery around 8 o'clock. The wait between 6 and 8, I know that was very risky of me, but again, I was in denial. But I checked myself in at 8 o'clock, and at first they weren't picking up my contractions. I felt so gaslighted because I'm like, it's there. Like, I am in so much pain. It is there. It's happening every 5 minutes. And they adjusted my monitor, and just like that, you see those big little mountains that we don't want to see until it's time, right? So they're monitoring me for a while, and they were like, oh yeah, you're definitely having contractions. So they hook me up on an IV, they give me IV fluids, and they take this test. It's called an FFN test, and that test is supposed to tell you if you're at risk for premature labor. Well, I already knew that I was at risk for premature labor as per the conversation I had with my doctor the day before, and also just given my history, I knew that that was something we could expect. But the test ends up coming back positive. And when she comes and the on-call doctor tells me, yes, it was positive, I was like, oh yeah, I expected that. And she's like, I don't think you understand. This test means your baby is probably going to be born in the next 1 to 2 weeks. What? I freaked out. And I'm pretty sure I yelled out, 2 weeks? I don't have anything. I don't have the crib ready. I don't have the car seat. I don't have anything ready yet. My baby shower is supposed to be in just a couple of weeks. And so I'm just everything's going through my head, and I'm just thinking this can't be possible. It is way too soon. 28 weeks is way too early, but nonetheless, it's out of my control. So at that point, they give me a steroid shot to help develop his lungs and tell me that I have to come in the next day and get a second shot. I come in the next day, and lo and behold, I'm having contractions again. At this point, these contractions, although intense, they were not regular by any means, and they definitely didn't have any kind of pattern or anything. So when they put me up to the monitor, the contractions were not picking up. I'm not sure if it was Braxton Hicks or whatever the case was, but it wasn't true contractions, I suppose. So they went ahead and they gave me my shot. They monitored me for a while. They checked my cervix. My cervix was still closed, and they pretty much sent me home on strict bed rest and told me, until this baby's born, you can't really do anything. Like, you need to be on bed rest and you need to stay put. You can't do anything that could trigger this baby coming out before he's supposed to. So I am now 29 weeks. I just had a follow-up appointment yesterday. And since the whole preterm labor stuff happened over the past weekend, I have not felt contractions, thank God, but I have felt an increase in pelvic pressure. He is pushing down. I cannot sleep. I have realized that I'm having to use the restroom a lot more than I used to. My appetite is not the same. I'm not as hungry as I used to be. And I just feel like he's pushing down all the time. But thankfully at my appointment, he looked happy and healthy and his heartbeat was strong. My cervix is still closed, which is great news. So for now, the plan is to just have little goals. I'm 29 weeks now, so we're gonna try to get to 30 weeks with no baby, and hopefully from there we can make it to 32 weeks and so on and so forth until we get to at least 36 weeks. But I feel really confident that God's timing is perfect, and no matter when he decides to show up, it's going to be the perfect time for him. It's going to be part of God's plan, and I know that he's going to be a strong and healthy baby regardless. So I am just slowly preparing for his arrival, just so that way, if he surprises us before we're ready, then we will be ready. And yeah, I'm curious to know if any of you guys have experienced anything like this. If you've gotten a positive FFN test and it was right, I would love to hear about your experiences in the comments. Or if you tested positive and you went all the way full term, especially for those of you who have already had premature babies and then had this test after that pregnancy be positive. I would love to hear if you've had the same or similar experiences and how long it took for your baby to be born after that test. But thank you for listening, and I will keep you all updated. Bye.